What's going on, YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, BoxingWave Official. All right? Let's get this out of the way because I'm tired of going back, looking at videos, looking at past fights between these two. Teofimo Lopez, Vasyl Lomachenko. Let's get it. All right? Next Saturday, it's going to be on ESPN. October 17th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern is going to be the prelims on ESPN Plus. Okay, at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And then 10 p.m. Eastern, we're going to get the main card. All right? So, look. Teofimo Lopez, I have already expressed in past videos that I think he's highly underrated for this fight. I know people are looking at the Nakatani fight. I know people are looking at his resume. But there's a lot of unknowns here with this kid. And this is why I pretty much got tired of watching his past fights. You got Diego Magdaleno, southpaw, the one southpaw that I seen him face. All right, I seen him destroy that dude, but we know that dude is not nearly on Lomachenko's level. It was a good win, but it's hard to really compare because outside of them being southpaws, there's not really much to really compare with him and Lomachenko. But if you want to see him and you want to see Teofimo Lopez fight against another southpaw and see what he can do, watch that fight. The Nakatani fight. Nakatani, tall, rangy, long, lanky, right-handed fighter. Lopez had some issues with him, but that guy fights nothing like Lomachenko, and no one really does fight like Lomachenko. But there's not really many similarities there. Same thing with Richard Commey. That was a good step up for Teo. He stepped up, he fought a legit champion and knocked him out with ease. 2 rounds. Got him out of there. Good win, great win. He's champions now. He's actually a legit champion. But again, Commey, he's taken his losses. He's been in his wars. On a technical level, he's nowhere near Lomachenko. As far as athleticism, boxing ability, boxing IQ, whatever you want to name, he's not anywhere on Lomachenko's level. So there's not really much to really roll with here as far as trying to decide who's going to win. There's a lot of unknowns with this kid, especially because he's fighting one of the pound-for-pound best in the sport. But what I do like about Teofimo Lopez, obviously he has the power. I like his counter-punching. I think his feet, yes, he's flat-footed, but I don't think he's as flat-footed as people like to say. I don't think he's nearly as flat-footed as Nicholas Walters. Okay? I think he can do more. I think he's a lot lighter on his feet than people give him credit for. I don't think his feet are as great as are Jorge Linares or a Luke Campbell. But he can move. If you watch him, he can move. You watch that Nakatani fight, the kid can move. Now, as far as the power, is he as effective when he's on the move? I don't really think so. But there's still a lot of unknowns, and we don't know what Teo can do in a fight like this. We really don't know. The reason why I say he's underrated, because I don't want to overrate him. Because there's a lot of I don't know about him. But the reason why I say he's underrated is because of what people say about him. And I understand that people don't like him because he's expressed himself. He's expressed himself and he's told the public many, many times over, he doesn't really respect Lomachenko like that. He doesn't like him. He thinks he's overrated. He thinks he could beat him. He's really cocky. He talks a lot. The kid is from Brooklyn. Typical kid from Brooklyn. And that's part of the reason why I kind of want him to win, because of my New York bias. I like Lomachenko. You guys know I love Lomachenko. Never rooted against him ever. You know, I never wanted him to lose against anyone that he's fought. But there's a little New York bias in there with me. But yeah, I know that cockiness, and I know a lot of people from around the world is going to see it and not like it, and I understand that. But the kid got skills. He's not just a puncher. He can box. He can box. His timing is on point. So I think people need to get out of their emotions when it comes to him. He has good technique, doesn't have the greatest defense, but it works. He's a big kid at the lightweight division. He's big. Not so sure what he can do at 140. You know, fighting a guy like a Josh Taylor or Regis Prograis or those top guys. But at 135, he's big, and I think it is a factor. Not so much we can't base everything on that, because at 135, Lomachenko has been fighting nothing but guys that's bigger than him, and been able to stop him or drop him or whatever. You know? Lomachenko, on the other hand, I mean, where do I begin? Everything. I mean, as far as his 3 division weight champion, he's holding three titles at the moment. His feet, his boxing IQ, you know, his defense, his reflexes. Reflexes are out of this world. Out of this world. I mean, he's probably the best pressure fighter in the game. You know, as far as coming forward and walking his opponents down, he's probably the best at doing it, you know? He's probably the best. His stamina, he's probably the best in sport. He's coming forward, he's throwing a lot of punches, he's making you a miss, he's embarrassing you. He's mentally draining you. He's not just landing or throwing. He's not just throwing power shots. He's not loading up on everything. But those little pity-pat punches count. It wears you down. It wore down Luke Campbell. It wore down Jorge Linares for sure. He's made people quit. They just can't take it. It's just too much. It's too much. Teofimo Lopez, I mentioned his size. How long can he hang at 135? He's planning on moving up at 140. Is he struggling with the weight? I question his endurance. How long can he fight at a high level? Not only does he not have the resume that Lomachenko has, and let's not forget, Lomachenko's been in there with 400 different amateurs, or had 400 amateur fights. Let's just not talk about what he's done as a professional. But as an amateur, he's probably the greatest amateur of all time. There's no one in the sport that he hasn't seen or he hasn't been in the ring with. When we're talking styles, at least. Tio, good. Is he bringing anything new to the table? No. But that power is the neutralizer. It is the neutralizer. And I do think that Tio is better than these other guys that Loma has been facing. Has he proven it? No, not exactly. But I do think he's a different level of danger. You know? Because of that power. Not just based on his boxing ability. Based on the boxing ability alone, I don't know if he's better than Linares. I don't know if he's better than him. I don't know as far as his skill set. I don't think he's better than Guillermo Rigo. You know? I don't think he has better technique than some of these guys. Luke Campbell, great legs, good counterpuncher, good timing. You know how to control the range and stuff. Listen, I don't know if T.O.'s better than all of these guys, but that neutralizer and having that power is a factor. We know exactly what he's going to do. I've said it in other videos. We know exactly what he's trying to do in this fight. He's trying to land that big right hand. Will Lomachenko walk into one of those? I think if Loma loses the fight, it will be because of that. Because Teo, I question his endurance. I question his stamina. He's only had one 12-round fight. He's stopped just about everybody. He hasn't really gone to distance. And he hasn't gone to distance with a volume puncher with the skill set that Lomachenko has. He hasn't done it. You know? A lot of the fighters he's fought were coming straight at him. Not really giving him the angles that Lomachenko has. You know what I'm saying? They're not really doing as much as Loma. You know, Teo has time to process everything with the opponents that he's been facing. That's one huge advantage that Lomachenko has over his opponents. Because he's able to do so much at one time. He's coming in, keeping that guard tight, blocking punches with his hands, his gloves. He's moving side to side. He's not staying straight on the line. He's giving you angles. He's stepping around you. He's moving laterally. He's changing levels. He's feinting. He's doing so many things at once. And it wears his opponents down. And it makes your brain have to think so much more. Lomachenko is the best at multitasking. He's extremely versatile. He doesn't switch stances like Terrence Crawford or anything like that. But what he does, he's perfected what he does. Okay? So when it comes to Teo, how long can he fight at a high level? I think when the fight goes late, I think Teo could be overwhelmed in the later rounds. But in the earlier rounds, I'm talking about the first half of the fight, he's extremely dangerous for Lomachenko because of those short right hands. Whether it's a short straight right, whether it's a short right uppercut. Oh yeah, he has a longer reach. Of course, he's going to be shooting those shots from the outside. He's going to be shooting those jabs to Loma's body. He's going to be shooting those right hands to Loma's body. He's going to be shooting. Listen, he's going to be a sniper from the outside. You better believe that. But how effective will he be from that part out there? Loma's going to be blocking the majority of those punches, slipping to most of those shots, and stepping in and getting in his space. But that's where Teo is dangerous. Because if Loma is not on his absolute A game all the way through, he doesn't have any room to make any mistakes. Because Teo's looking to time him with those short right hands as he's stepping in. Just like when he got caught against Jorge Linares. Linares timed and caught him. She just didn't have much power in that shot. If you go back and watch it, Linares wasn't putting much power into that shot. There's a few shots like that Linares landed against Loma because Loma and his style, it requires a lot of work. Okay? And you start getting relaxed when you're having so much success. You forget that you're in there with a killer. You in there with a top fighter, elite fighter at 135. And you get caught. You get timed and you get caught. That glove is not going to always be up. So Loma has to fight as if any punch can hurt him. He has no time to make any kind of mistakes and slip up. Because those same shots that land from Teo can rock you. It can at least put you down, if not knock you cold out. And this is why so many people believe that Teo has a chance of winning this fight. And this is why I made that video before saying like T.O. is very dangerous for Loma. I think T.O. is the most dangerous. Again, let me repeat. I don't think he's the most talented overall. No. But what I'm saying is for Lomachenko, I think he's the most dangerous because of the power. Because of the counterpunching. Because I know Lomachenko makes mistakes. Sometimes when he's coming in too aggressively. That guard is just not up. It's not always tight. And the reflexes, you can't dodge everything. You can dodge most, but you can't dodge them all. I think if Loma is to lose this fight, it's because he's going to make a mistake and he's going to get caught. But on the other hand, for T.O. to win this fight, he has to get a knockout in my eyes. He has to. Because he's more of a pot shotter. He's not going to outwork Loma. No one does. Let's be realistic here. This kid is barely making 135. Is he going to be drained for this fight? You know, he's pushing himself to keep that weight down. Plus, he doesn't have the experience of fighting very, very long fights. He needs a knockout. If he's getting overwhelmed and he starts slowing down, and those little pity-pat shots to the bodies, those little hooks, Loma's kind of funny. Yo, I was watching just a little bit. I was watching a little bit of the Linares fight again. And he's funny because a lot of those early rounds, he's not even really getting off. He just wants to get in just to see what he can do. He just wants to position. He just wants to see if he can get in position. In the meantime, he's keeping that guard tight. So whatever you hit him with, it's not really landing. You usually just hitting him on the side of the arms, the bottom of his elbow while he's guarding his body. You're not really like, he's funny. But meanwhile, you putting in work, yet you're not being affected and you're punching yourself out. That's what happened with Linares. He's real funny. He's real strategic on how he works. So I think T.O. might get some rounds. Obviously, yes, absolutely. He's going to get some rounds in there just based on activity. But how long can he keep fighting like that? Those are all of the unknowns. Not saying he can't do it. And this is why I think it's a 50-50. I think this is the biggest fight this year outside of, obviously, Wilder and Tyson Fury too. This is the biggest fight of the year. And you're getting it free on ESPN. It's not a pay-per-view. I would have paid for this shit. But there's a lot of unknowns. Can T.O. do it? Are there things that this kid can do that we haven't seen yet? Because maybe he didn't fight on the level of his opposition yet. It's also a possibility. But based on what I've seen, he doesn't have the resume. He doesn't have the rounds. He's getting too big for the division. He's not a value puncher. He's a counter puncher. He's a pot shotter. All right? He's not a combination puncher. He could throw some combinations, some heavy ones, but that's not what he is. He likes having time. You know? He's very cerebral in the way that he fights. But when you take that thought process away because of pressure, relentless pressure, even if the punches are not hurting that bad, they add up. I just don't know with him yet. I believe in him. I think he has a chance, but not enough to pick him to win this fight. I need to actually see it. So I'm going to go with Lomachenko. I think Lomachenko's going to win this one by decision. I think the two outcomes in this fight is either Teo by Lomachenko, or I mean Teo by knockout, Lomachenko by decision. I think Teo's gonna tough it out and make it and finish the fight. You know, I think he's gonna hang out there. I think because I think Loma's gonna be cautious. You know, I know Loma wants to stop him, but I think he's gonna be cautious. You know, especially early on. I think it's gonna be a very competitive fight. But I got Loma winning by decision. But I am rooting for Teo. I want the young kid to win. You know, and have all 4 titles. I know the WBC is the franchise bullshit title, but they watered that title down. But at the end of the day, this is between the 2 best fighters. No disrespect to Devin Haney, but this fight here is between the 2 best fighters at lightweight right now. All right. So I'm gonna go with Loma. Out of the 2 options, I'm gonna go with Loma winning by decision. Loma could stop him. He could stop him, but I think I'm expecting Teo to tough it out. You know, if Teo is to win this fight, though, he definitely will be a pound for pound fighter. I don't have him in a pound for pound now, obviously, but he would be in a pound for pound discussion somewhere in there. And obviously, if Loma loses, we'll speak more on that in another video, because I have a lot to say about Loma actually losing this fight. If he were to lose, how would I view him as a fighter overall? I want to do a separate video on that. All right, we're gonna have more videos on the way, so be on the lookout for that. But Loma wins the fight, he gets a lot more credit. You know, having all 4 titles at lightweight and beating a young, dangerous fighter like a Teofimo Lopez. He gets a lot of credit in my book. Lots of credit, you know, as he has in the past. All right, but I'm gonna take Loma. All right, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit me on Twitter. You know, I've been more active with Twitter. So if you want direct questions, definitely leave the comments. But if you want to hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, that's cool. Whatever's, you know, best for you. You know, just ask me a question. You know, give me a shout out. Say what up. Anything you want. All right. And I'll see you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.